Okay, I am really excited about this one. I cannot wait to start this episode. Message 6, all about Survivor. Hey everyone, I'm your host Desi on Unsent Voice Memos, and this week we are diving into Survivor. And just to be clear, this is the Australian reality TV show, not the original US one. I'm fully obsessed with Australian Survivor, so this is definitely going to be a rant. So I'm just gonna give a little origin story quickly on Survivor and clarify a couple things before I get into it. The one on Channel 10 started in 2016, and I refer to that one as season 1. Back in the 2000s, there were 2 seasons that aired. I can't remember which channel. I haven't watched those, but they're technically season 1 and 2. But I'm just ignoring those and saying Channel 10 is the only Australian Survivor to exist, and season 1 started in 2016. So now that's cleared up. Let's get straight into it. So I probably started watching Survivor when season 2 was airing, and I was around 7 at the time. I remember I would come home from after school camp. My mum would pick me up. I would be in the car just waiting because it would mean for me being picked up from school that Australian Survivor would start very shortly. And I just goof around as a 7-year-old would do because back at that time I had no homework. But yeah, so then I would wait until the clock would hit 7:20. Then I would run to the TV, and I mean sprint. And I would turn it on and then watch the last 10 minutes of the project while eagerly waiting for a new episode to start. The project was just this little news broadcast that would always be on before Survivor would start. And I can remember all the players just going through these grueling challenges and just fight for their place in the game. And I would watch it with my mum. And I was just absolutely captivated. I think just a key moment for me in season 2 that I still remember, because I think I haven't actually watched season 2. I probably should. After the Survivor auction, they would do the cookie, Jericho got a cookie jar, and just him and Luke would eat through it, and then Jericho found a clue. I just love that little side of it. There's always just hidden secrets and surprises. When season 5 came out, I actually had brain cells to understand what the conversations were happening, and just how blind sides work. I was figuring out the strategic side a lot more that season. I always knew about the social and physical aspects, but I think learning about the strategic side and being able to witness it is what got me so obsessed. I could just suddenly understand how surprising the show can be. I will probably talk about it in next week's episode about season 12 Survivor, and how there was a blind side and no one was expecting it. Even the audience wasn't expecting it. I was shocked. I almost started yelling. I did scream a bit, but that's what I'm saying. Now there was just a surprise element to the show that I finally understood, and I think just all the hidden details, the idols and all that, and the advantages. I think that's probably what got me so obsessed with Survivor, and then I obviously got more obsessed as the years passed. To me, when I was around the age of 10, it was not just about who was had a really good social game or who was really fit and could do these challenges. It was suddenly about why would people go home, and me trying to predict who would go home, because I'm just going to take season 5. Brooke, she is such a challenge beast, but she ended up going home because she didn't have the numbers, and she only made it to where she did, I feel because she kept winning the individual immunity necklace. I don't think she would have got into top 5 without it. Season 5, and after season 5, I had just learned a new way to enjoy the show, and it wasn't just a show to watch after school, but it had become a comfort, and 12 seasons later I'm still watching the show I've grown up with. So I thought for today's rankings, I would just do who my favorite players were, because I feel just the players in the game have made me love the show so much more. So I feel just acknowledging them and their gameplay is just what I'm doing today. But I'm gonna do a bit more of a highlight situation, just because all these players have such different games. Obviously there are similarities between them, but all of them have different strengths. So it felt wrong to rank them. So I'm just gonna talk who my favorite players are, and then just their highlight moments. So first up, I am going to go with Nick, he is the original Snake in Australian Survivor. And I feel like you can't go without this icon moment when he made up the idol clue. And even though everyone just figured it out straight away, I feel like just it was so smart just to make up a clue. And I know he didn't find the idol, but I felt like because so many people just didn't trust him after that, and then he had to regain some trust a bit. So I feel like the fact that he did end up making it onto the jury was pretty good, seeing his reputation from the very beginning. And then next, I am going to do Kirby. Kirby is from season 9. I feel like as a gameplay, she was just fantastic. I am not talking about from season 11, I'm just talking about from her season 9 gameplay. She was so good at the game as a new player, and she just knew how to navigate the strategy really well. She didn't crumble under pressure, I felt like. And just I felt like some of the moves, strategic moves she made was so good. She had the best strategy that season, and I'd say she had probably one of the best strategies, and it was just really good strategist in all of Australian Survivor. And I feel like you can't go without mentioning Kirby. But for us, same season, they had a really good banter. I feel like they made a really good decision of working together, because I feel like that helped them out so much, as they were their biggest enemies, but also the biggest target, so they could somewhat shield themselves. So I felt like that was just a very good move with them. But for us, he was a really good player. He did deserve to win. I feel like actually no, all of them who have won have deserved to win. But I feel like for us has been it was expected, because his gameplay was so good. I also just feel like he had a very good overall game, in the sense of he was a physical player with winning a couple immunities, including the final immunity challenge, which obviously guaranteed him a top 2 position, which I feel like is just so important in the game, winning that final 3. Another thing is he was also just really such a social player. He got quite a few people to work with him, and also he was obviously quite a big target, so him aligning with Kirby, I can't exactly remember whose idea it was. I feel like it might have been Kirby's, but just that alliance worked out really well for the both of them. So yeah, I feel like props to both of them. Even they're both such good plays from that season, and I feel like that season was one of the best because of those two players. Okay, so next I'm gonna go with Phoebe. Although from memory she hasn't made two jury either times, I do feel like that was just bad luck, drawn wrong side of the stick. But I feel like she did have such good gameplay, in the sense she was a really good strategist. I feel like because she played in season 1, she was the first strategic threat. Now I know in the All Stars introduction she's like placed as the greatest player of season 1. I don't necessarily think that is true. Well, she was a pretty good player of season 1, but I feel like she wasn't compared to the other people who are up there, which was Henry, Matt Rogers, and David. I felt like she wasn't up to their caliber, but for season 1, she was a very good player. So next, I am going to do Shan. She is the only Australian Survivor player to have gotten to final 2 both times she's played, and not won either time, which I feel like is disappointing. But I feel like I will fault her slightly on her decision making, because especially in season 3 when she won the final immunity, she took Shane over Brian, and I felt like if she had chosen Brian, she would have won the game, but instead she chose Shane, and instead Shane won the game. But first person in Australian Survivor to get 100 days, and I'm pretty sure she is the only person in Australian Survivor to get 100 days only playing twice, which I feel like it's just a feat in itself, having played the game twice and getting 100 days. And she was also really good at strategy. She had her like this is just an iconic moment from Shan, which I feel like everyone should know her for, which is when she found the idol and then it fell out of her pants straight away. Like that is just such a hilarious moment, and then obviously she had to play it straight away. Again, my memory just trips me up quite a bit. I can't remember if she played it right, but the fact that she had to play it, like, she didn't do any, like, she couldn't do anything about it. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so next I am going to go with Shawnee. Shawnee has played the most seasons of Australian Survivor with playing 4 seasons, and also has the most days on Survivor with 138 days in the game. Shawnee, I just love her social game. Like, her social game is so good. Like, I remember just like, I think like in season 5, she remembered something that Zach said to her in season 3 to do with birds, and then she just managed like was like to Brooke like, I'll talk to Zach about birds, and then it somehow like worked really well. So like I feel like Shawnee's just social game is so good, and she has gotten quite far every single time. She's never won, which is really sad because I would love to see Shawnee win. I don't know if she'd go back on Australian Survivor, but if she does, I really want her to win. Yeah, just Shawnee, I feel like she is overall just my favorite player. Just like I've always loved watching her on the screen and just like her bubbly personality. And like I remember in season 3, she said, "Oh yeah, no, my job's being like a dog walker to a famous person," and she only got that job because she was just like talking to the guy. Like I feel like that's just the game, like in her social way, like in her social play is just such a reflection on who she is like in life, being such a bubbly person. And the fact that she had such a good social game, like I don't know what else to say. Like I'm like smiling right now while I'm talking about her because like she is one of my favorite players like of all time. Like whenever someone asks me, "Oh, who's your favorite Australian Survivor player?" First one to come to mind is always Shawnee. So I feel like I just have to thank Shawnee for being like a part of Australian Survivor because she is just like amazing for me. Okay, so next is Brooke, who has played 3 seasons of Australian Survivor. And I'd say she has like the longest span in the sense of like she's played season 1 and now she's like, she said she has retired in season 12 and she has had 132 days in the game, which I feel like is pretty impressive because every single time she has made it into jury, which I feel like, especially like as returning, like for this season, because like season 1 she was new, season 5 everyone was returning, but like this season she was like one in 4 returnees and she was the last returnee in the game, and like she also made it to jury, so she made it quite far in the game. And Brooke, she is such a powerhouse. She has the most individual immunities won in Australian Survivor with holding 10 in total. Like, you cannot know Brooke without knowing her physical game and just how much of a challenge beast she is. Like, she is such an asset in like group challenges, but then she is also just like she is an endurance beast and she is just such a physical threat. Like, I would be scared to play against her just because of how much of a physical threat she is. And then like I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I will talk about it in another Survivor episode specifically for season 12. But just like the way Brooke finds idols, that's just like a superpower in itself when it comes to Survivor. Like, I will dive into it a bit more in the season 12 highlights episode that I'll do very shortly. Okay, so next I am going to go with Haley Leak. Again, such a physical threat. Like, she is an endurance beast. Like, I can clearly remember like her trying to get off Exile Beach. I can't remember who she was going against, but just like hugging on the pole like a koala. She just looked like so in the zone. And I remember like by the time the challenge ended, it did not even look like she had done it. Like, you could not see any like physical strain on her face. Like, it was just amazing to see like her her endurance is just like on a whole nother level. And like she was also just like a really good social player, like, and a strategist. Like, I'd say she is a pretty good, well-rounded player. And I'm pretty sure she won the final individual immunity, and then she obviously made a really good choice in taking George because not many people liked George in season 6. Now leads me to King George from season 6, season 8, and season 11. He definitely did not do that well in season 11, and also just getting cut off at 99 days is just kind of sad. And George can, I will not lie, sometimes get a bit on my nerves, but you cannot discredit him for how amazing his strategic game is. Like in season 6 especially, I don't think he had too many allies except like Kara, and I know he had Wei and Brayden, but like so he was like in a minority for a lot of the game, and a lot of people on the jury just didn't like him. So I don't really think he had a chance of winning over Haley, who like a lot of people on the jury, I wouldn't say liked her, but they probably did. But I think they also had some like beef against George and just his gameplay. But I will say his gameplay, like strategically, was really good. Like another like season 6 with Haley and George, a really another good season to watch. Like if I had to give like season recommendations on what to watch, I would give season 5 All Stars just because it's like all returning players, so they all know what they're doing. Season 6 because of George and Haley's like battle, you could say. Like they also somewhat protected each other, but like just their banter and just like both their gameplays are really good. And then I would also say season 9 with Kirby and Faraz, their gameplay is also really good. And I feel like it just like, especially with season 6 and season 9, those like two players in their respective seasons just like elevated the season in its entirety. Like I definitely enjoyed watching those seasons. And finally, I am doing the one and only David, who is now the host of Australian Survivor, but more importantly, the winner of season 5 All Stars, which I feel like would probably be the hardest season to win because it is all returning players. He played such a good game that season. Like season 4, his game was good, especially because like after Tribe Swap, he was in a minority with Luke, and they both somehow survived, like against all odds, going to Tribal Council basically every single like episode. But like I felt like he did get a bit cocky, which is why he ended up getting voted out. But like in season 5, he's a lot more well maintained. Like he kept really good relationships. And then when it came to merge, obviously I can't remember the tribe name, but the Green Tribe, they all had such good relationships and no one really broke away from that. So that was just like really beneficial for them. I think only Jackie ended up breaking from that, but then she ended up getting voted off quite quickly once she like left that um alliance. But like I just felt like David was one of the main reasons why that Green Tribe alliance stayed together so well. And then he is obviously a physical threat. He won the final immunity in season 5, and it didn't really matter who he took in the end because he knew he had the best resume, and that just like reflects like how good of a gameplay he is, and like he deserves the title, the Golden God. I will say, like I know in season 11 he didn't really do great, and yeah, I don't think he has actually reached 100 days, but like he is just like praise him for season 4 and season 5 because I'd say those were his best seasons, especially season 5. Like he is such an overall good player. Like again, like if you ask me who like the best Australian Survivor players, like after Shawnee, I would think of David because like he is such a good player. And I feel like I will talk about it more in the Survivor 12 episode. But like just seeing him step into a role of a host has been like such like a different experience because like him as a player, you can like frame him as like the snake or like the villain of the game, like being the golden god and being able to slay everyone, you could say. But just like seeing him in that host role has been like such a privilege. I feel like I am sad JLP has left. Like I remember I was really sad when I found out the news. But like I can't really imagine too many people being able to fill JLP's shoes, and I feel like David has done a pretty good job. But like just focusing on him as a player, he is definitely one of the best players in Australian Survivor, and I can definitely see why people would think that the Golden God is one of the best Survivor players in the world. And now that leads me to the final section about just like how Survivor has like changed my life. Like it has been in my life for like the past 9 years. I have essentially grown up with the show, and I feel like Survivor A has taught me so many lessons. B has just like it has made me so motivated in life when it comes to like things where like I feel like I want to give up. Like I talked about this a couple episodes ago, back in episode 3, when I was talking about how like with exams sometimes I just like question why I even am doing like studying just for the exams to not really mean anything in a couple of years. But like Survivor has like just given me that motivation to keep going, never give up. Like I like there is days that I just don't want to get out of bed, and I know we all have those, and sometimes I will succumb to them, but like the amount of grit you have to have on Survivor is just insane, and I feel like just being able to witness that for so many years, it has to some extent come slightly a part of my lifestyle where I definitely will still succumb to my bed a lot of the time, but there are times where I will like just get out of bed and actually get stuff done because I know how rewarding it can feel. I also like when I watch Survivor, I still like feel like that little girl who would wait in front of the screen for 10 minutes before the show would start, and just I would still be like all jittery and just so excited to watch Survivor. Like as a little girl, I will say it was like a dream of mine to like be on the show. Like I don't know if it's still a dream of mine, just because like I feel like I have so many different aspirations now, like being older, but like I definitely wouldn't be against it because I feel like for me, if I go on the show, I will be like living a childhood dream of mine, and I feel like that in itself for me is just so rewarding. Like as I've said, like Survivor has been my comfort show for years. Like I would say it is the original comfort show, and I have had a lot of comfort shows. So for Australian Survivor to be able to get that title, it's a very big title in my eyes. Like I can like I remember like getting in front of my TV and just like watching like the players like outwit, outplay, and like outlast each other, and just like watching JLP like conduct tribal council, and now David. Like I always had like a sense of awe when it came to like the host, like just the way being able to like fill up a room with space and just words and being able to ask the right questions. Like I feel like yeah, like I'm literally hosting a podcast. Like you can see, like it is a dream of mine to like host and just talk. Like I have said probably a couple of times in the past 7 episodes, I love talking and I would not be against being a public speaker. So like I feel like watching both David and JLP be hosts, it has given me like inspiration and just like ideas on how to like public speak and just like how to like fill up a room and like make sure people like have your attention. Like I know they aren't the best role models, but they are pretty good role models to me. I also would just like love to like meet the people from previous seasons, as I probably somewhat said. Like Shawnee being like the main one, like I've already said so many times, I just like love her bubbly personality and just like everything about her. Like I also would love to meet David, just like he is in my eyes one of the best Australian Survivor players, and probably also in my eyes the best Survivor player, but I will be a bit biased because I have not really watched any of the other Survivors, so I can't really make a good call in calling him the best Survivor player, but from what I know, he is. And it's like, yeah, like there are so many others I also want to meet. And like, I just like, part of it's just like I would be a fangirl just because they were on the show, even though like for them, like they were on the show when they weren't celebrities, but now like a lot of them are verified on Instagram. But like for me, that doesn't matter. Like I just want to understand like their actions and like their gameplay, even if like they don't remember. I feel like just being in the presence of a survivor play is just like the same thing for most people being the presence of royalty. Like I just look up to them that much, and even though like the players like constantly change and cycle through, it's just like I think it's just like knowing what they've gone through, especially those players who get to merge and into the jury, just like knowing what they had to give up. Like, that's another thing I've learned, like being like watching Survivor. Like, you have to give up things on Survivor. Like, so many of the players, like they all give up like necessities essentially, or what we consider necessities, like toothbrush, toothpaste, and like they give up nice food, they give up spending time with families because they're just stuck on a beach. Like, they have no outside communication. And I feel like that just takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength. And like, there is a 1 in 24 chance you're winning the game. So like, you don't even know if you're going to come back with the money. And I think just taking that chance, like, that's just another admirable quality. Just like being able just to take the leap of faith and like be willing to give up like having a bed, like being with family, and just like this would be like a major thing for me, but just not being able to have like my personal space. Like, I'm an only child. Like, I am so used to having personal space in downtime and not talking. So like, I feel like being on Survivor would be quite overstimulating for me, and I can imagine it would be overstimulating for so many of those players. So just like being on the show itself, I feel like it's just such a like, it takes so much strength and so much courage, and I feel like they are often underestimated, like in the real world, because just like, yeah, like, I feel like I've already explained it, just like the strength, the courage, and just how much they have to give up, like, and just being able to adapt to change. Like, I've definitely said this in an episode, I can't remember which one, but like, I do struggle slightly to adapt to change. So I feel like just like them being able to do it, like, I give props. Like, I feel like if I ever went on the show, like, I would just learn so much from the experience, and just like, even if I don't win the money, I feel like just being on the show, I would be like fulfilling a little girl's dreams, but I would also just be like gaining just like a lot of things and a lot of like knowledge about like the outside world, but also like just knowledge of myself and like how much like strength I actually have. Because I feel like in our day to day life, we underestimate ourselves, and like we shy away from things, and we don't like take full courage and like use our full strength. But I feel like in Survivor, you're forced to. So you would definitely learn a lot about yourself, like playing Survivor. And like, this is just like props to Australian Survivor. Like, I am someone who 12 seasons later is like still waiting for a new episode to come out. And when one's not coming out because like the season's over, I will rewatch all the episodes. Like, they have to be doing something right if I'm still like being the same person I was when I was like 7, and like getting in front of the TV and just waiting for a new episode to start. Like, Australian Survivor, like, it makes me feel like a girl again. And I've said this quite a few times already. Like, I am such a dedicated fan of the show, and like, I'm not mad about it because like, it's, I feel like to some extent, like I already said, like, Australian Survivor has like become a part of my life. Like, it has made me, because I actually can't imagine my life without like not watching Survivor, because I feel like it would be kind of removing a part of my identity. Like, that's how much I'm like connected to it. Like, Survivor for me is like my own way of like having a little adventure, and like just being able to escape from reality. And I'm like okay with it. So this was like a really long rant. So I do thank you for coming along with the journey. Like, I've said so many times, I'm gonna say it again. Australian Survivor has like really been a large part of my life for a while, and I think it will always be. So like, I definitely want to thank whoever came up with the idea of Survivor, and then whoever decided that Australian Survivor should exist, because it is essentially part of my identity. So I just feel like I have to thank them for creating the show, because it is a comfort show for me, my original comfort show, and just makes me feel like a little girl. And not feel like I have responsibilities. And I know this is not going to be the last Survivor rant because next week, as I've already said, I am doing a season 12 highlight. So I will hope you tune into that one. So thank you for tuning in to Unsent Voice Memos, and I will see you guys next week. Remember that episodes release every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Unsent Voice Memos Podcast. Okay, that rant actually got over and I really loved it. Message 7 concluded.